Judge Myers?
Yes.
Rev up your love life with these tips.
Do you need anything else, Your
A
Honor?
man of your dreams is just a click away.
No, I don't. I'm fine, thank you.
All right, welcome back to Bandwagon fans. This is Jeff, and before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my returning subscribers and to invite everybody new to the channel to go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And if you end up liking the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up as well. This is a relatively new channel. I've only been doing this for a couple months, and it still means a whole lot to me when I see those, when I get those alerts saying I got a new subscriber. So don't be shy. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and make sure you leave a comment below about, you know, if after you've seen the movie, or if you want to see the movie, you know, leave a comment below. So the movie I'll be doing tonight is Book Club, and this is directed by Bill Halderman and starring Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen. And it's about 4 older women who have a lifelong friendship over 40 years, where they meet every month to discuss their book of the month, hence the name Book Club, and what happens when the book club decides to read 50 Shades Grey. Comedy ensues, and enjoy some highlights from the trailer.
I don't need a man. What is the point?
Who still has any interest?
Ladies, I am not going to let us become those people who stop living before they stop living. I would like to introduce you to Christian Grey.
It says for mature audiences. Certainly sounds like us.
Oh, wow.
Slim?
My, oh my.
What's it been, 40 years?
That's impossible. That would mean I was only 6.
You are better at this than you think you are.
The choice should be ours. Shut up and kiss me. Do we want another bottle?
So, Book Club. Now, I'm going to be honest. I did go see an advanced screening, and I'm gonna set the stage here in a moment. But going into this movie, you know, I've seen the trailer a few times now, and knowing that, you know, 50 Shades Grey was fan fiction of Twilight, and Book Club is almost like fan fiction for 50 Shades Grey, I was going into this expecting like 3 generations of crap. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised at just how much I enjoyed this movie. Now, to kind of set the stage of my personal viewing experience, I did go to an advanced screening, one of the first screenings in the country, and there were so many people that they actually had to cancel a showing of Avengers to open up a second theater for Book Club. It was absolutely packed. And I was there with a friend of mine who I often go see movies with, and she had about 7 friends with her. And the one woman, and all of them are 10 to 15 years, if not more, older than I am. The one woman sitting next to me made a comment about that I was clearly in the minority in this theater. And I was like, yeah, I kind of noticed, because really, there was only a few guys in the theater, and we were spread out. It was just clearly I am not the target audience for Book Club, and this theater was packed with its target audience. So the first few minutes of the movie, I was fully expected to not like this, either thinking that it was going to be super cheesy like 50 Shades Grey or Darker or Freed, whatever the movies are, or at best it would be like watching your parents have sex. But I can honestly say that it was none of those things. So we'll go straight into what really worked with this movie, and what worked was, for a good 3/4 of it, this was just an incredibly well-crafted comedy. All the actresses, Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, Candice Bergen, Mary Steenburgen, I mean, they're all phenomenal. They've been at this for quite a while, and they deliver their lines with such ease, with perfect timing. All the writing was rooted in their character. The movie actually opens with Mary Steenburgen doing a voiceover describing all 4 women and their careers, their history, the history of the book club itself. So you start off the movie right off the bat knowing who these people are as individuals. And all of the humor throughout the movie is rooted in their character, and then these little crazy situations they get themselves into as they're exploring this new world of sex and romance that had pretty much escaped them for most of their lives. In a way, it's very much not just a rom-com, but it's very much a fish out of water movie, where each of these women in their own way are experiencing a lifestyle that they hadn't really known before. The various male co-leads were Don Johnson, Andy Garcia, Craig T. Nelson, and Richard Dreyfuss. So you can see him just rattle off those 8 names, and that is like an A-list cast. All the performances were solid. The humor was great. The writing was great. And overall, it was, the theater I'm in was uproarious. People were laughing hysterically, and this time, unlike Life of the Party, I was laughing with them. It was you could not help but laugh. So, in terms of me not being the target audience, I was wrong. Anybody can enjoy a fish out of water story. Anybody that can enjoy a rom-com should have fun in this movie. It was an absolute delight. Now, that doesn't mean to say that it wasn't perfect, or there were some issues, particularly towards the end. The movie was incredibly predictable. You knew about 30 minutes in, once all the various actors were introduced, you knew exactly where their various stories were going to go. You knew exactly how they were going to end. But it was still an enjoyable ride to get to that end, but you knew exactly where it was going to go. And that leads to one of the 2 other issues with the movie, and the end got like saccharine levels of sweetness, whereas the movie started off kind of building up on kind of a raunch level as they, started exploring the 50 Shades Grey world, and I really, really wish they had just kept ratcheting that up. And I can tell you the audience that I was a part of would have ate it up because they were loving that stuff. But in the third act, they kind of went the traditional rom-com route, and everything got super sweet and sentimental and emotional. And a lot of the humor, it was, the first hour you were laughing like pretty solidly every couple minutes. The last 30 minutes, the laughter was gone. It just got schmaltzy. The only other issue I had, and this is minor, and it's probably something most people aren't going to pick up on, but there were some technical issues. There was really unnecessary green screens, very much like Tyler Perry's Acrimony or The Room. And if you're comparing your movie to The Room, somebody's not doing their job right. So, and just scenes where they're sitting at a couple is sitting at a restaurant, and you can tell that they're not really there. It's all green screen behind them, and really, how much would it have cost to film at a restaurant? I don't think it would have been that much more. And the other issue, there was just a bunch of scenes where there'd be a close-up, and for some reason I noticed it more with Jane Fonda than anybody else, but there'd be a close-up out of focus, and I don't, somebody has one job, and that's to pull focus on the camera, and that person did not do their job. Or if it was an intentional choice, it's inexplicable. But bad green screen, a couple of bad audio dubs, and a whole bunch of out of focus close-ups just was a little annoying to me. It's one thing for me doing this channel. I'm a one-man show. I run the camera, I run the audio, I do all the editing, and this is like my third. I've got 2 other jobs before I get to this one. So I get frustrated sometimes when I realize I'm a little bit off focus, but I don't necessarily have time to go back and fix that, and it's not really, I just have to live with it. So I can kind of understand, but this is a Paramount, this is a professional production, should not have those kind of technical issues. But with that being said, it's not enough to drop my score. I'm going to give this 3.25 stars out of 5. Just a really good time. I would recommend seeing it. I recommend seeing it early, early in its run. You want to go when the theater is fairly full. And because it is really funny, and the more people that are with you watching it, the more amped up the whole experience gets. So go check it out. It's worth watching. The technical issues kind of annoy me, but I don't think it's going to matter to most of the audience. And then just the end is the one thing that really dropped the score for me. If they had actually had the guts to just keep going raunchier and raunchier, number one, this cast could pull it off. The cast was fearless. They absolutely could have nailed it, and the audience would have gone with it, and it would have really separated it from other rom-coms. So overall, like I said, 3.25 stars. I enjoyed it. It was a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be, and I believe anybody else going to see it will also enjoy it. So with that being said, I'm Jeff. Thanks for watching, and get on the bandwagon.